This morning on Awareness, the newest Barbershop movie tackles tough topics from politics, relationships, and gun violence. We sit down with the film's co-writer Tracy Oliver, who is also a Columbia native. And what roles do barbershops and beauty shops play in the community? How some across the state are impacting the youth.
Engaging the community since 1970. This is WIS Awareness.
Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us for Awareness. I'm your host, Megan Norman. More than 10 years since the last installment of the Barbershop franchise comes the third film. Ice Cube, Cedric the Entertainer, Anthony Anderson, and others in the comedic crew reunite. Barbershop, the next cut, tackles tough issues inside and out of the barbershop, which is located on the south side of Chicago. I sat down with one of the co-writers of the film, who is from Columbia.
This is the town I love, a neighborhood of family and friends. You know how we do, Southside Chicago, yes, baby. Sir. And right here at the heart of it all is where everyone comes together, the barbershop.
What's up, homie black folks? Who wants some gangster grub?
That who's hopping on fleek last time.
Did she just say fleek? There's a whole dictionary full of words. There's a library down the street. You won't see fleek in there nowhere.
He funny. He make me laugh.
What happened to the barbershop, Calvin? We used to come here to get away from women.
Me and Angie, we was both struggling to keep our shops afloat, so we had to work together.
Saved us both.
This neighborhood was always rough, but there's something different going on.
Hey, shoot out there.
Meanwhile, we gotta raise Jalen in this mess. You don't understand how dangerous it is out there.
Y'all need anything? Y'all straight?
We gotta take our streets back. We put our minds together, we gonna get some solutions.
I got so much love for everybody in this neighborhood. Turn that up!
Yeah, this gotta be some of my best work. I bet you won't be talking back to his mama no more. Give him that George Jefferson.
No.
A co-writer for the film is Columbia's own Tracy Oliver. Tracy, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
It's good to have you home.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
So tell us how this whole thing started, how you became a co-writer on Barbershop.
Well, I heard they were doing a sequel, and I was like, oh wow, Barbershop. It's been like 10 plus years,
right.
But I was really excited about it. And I joined with Kenya Barris, who's the creator of Blackish, and we came up with this idea to do a co-ed barbershop, man, and woman take on it, and went to the studio, pitched our idea, they loved it, and they hired us. So,
well, it's neat to see that kind of collaboration. How did that actually play out when it came to writing the lines?
Yeah, we decided to both put our own personalities into it, and Kenya gives me horrible dating advice, and I think that he says a lot of silly things, and we often argue and disagree about everything, so we kind of put that attitude into the script. So a lot of the conversations that are like in the movie are actually things that we discuss like in life, and we just put it on the page together.
Well, you really do, and a lot of topics really are discussed, and they're difficult topics.
Right.
They're controversial topics at times, but nothing really seemed to be off limits to you guys.
Yeah, we got lucky. I think starting from Ice Cube on down, everyone was like really open about putting everything out there on the table. And even the first Barbershop was really good about doing that.
Right.
They discussed Rosa Parks, and there was a controversial statement about that, and so they never had any really parameters for us on what we could and couldn't do.
Well, and that really falls right in line with what the barbershop and beauty shop stands for in the Black community. I mean, really nothing is off limits, and you talk about pretty much everything from politics on down, which is what the movie does. Talk about the collaboration with some of the actors from Ice Cube and Cedric the Entertainer.
The person I probably worked with the most was Ice Cube, and we started very early on. Even when we first pitched the idea, he was giving us feedback and notes and critiquing it. I mean, he's lived with that character for over a decade.
Right.
So it feels very personal to him. So he would be like, Calvin wouldn't say that, or Calvin wouldn't do that, because he's just known that character. And for us, it was new. So he was really good about being hands-on and helping guide the script.
Now, with this coming out 10 years after the second Barbershop, was there anything that Ice Cube said this movie has to include?
Yes. Well, we set it in the south side of Chicago. All the movies have been set there, and we decided to keep it there for this one. And, you know, for this, we're living in a really, you know, trying time with the South Side of Chicago. There's a lot of violence. The numbers of deaths, you know, are alarming, and a lot of people don't know that. And, you know, from Cube and people at MGM and the producers, everyone was adamant about, we have to address gang violence, and let's not sugarcoat it, let's not shy away from it. So it makes its way into the script in a very real way.
Right. Now, it being set on the South Side of Chicago, you are from Columbia, you went to Spring Valley High School, and then later Stanford University. How did you do your research for this kind of role, for writing this film?
Yeah, talking to people, talking to gang leaders and talking to educators, doing research online, watching documentaries, just, you know, really immersing ourselves into that world and making sure that it felt authentic.
And I know you've seen the film with a few different audiences. Do you feel like the message you're trying to send with, you know, having a real conversation, opening up dialogue, is getting through to those audiences?
Absolutely. Yeah, I've talked to people who feel like they were inspired or empowered in some way to try to do something. And, you know, that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to send a message that, you know, people can be powerful as individuals. You don't have to wait for the government, you don't have to wait for outside people to come in and help. That, you know, there's power in our own community.
Right. Were there any challenges for you or for Kenya in keeping the storyline fresh and funny?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest challenge is when you're dealing with gang violence and you're dealing with heavy topics like that, how do you make it funny? You know, because it's really hard, you know, when you're dealing with something heavy to find the humor in it. But that's the great thing about writing, and the thing about life is that, you know, we're at all times living in, you know, comedy and drama on a daily basis, and there's a good balance to the movie, and that's what we tried to do.
Right, that's a really good point. Any challenges for you in terms of your career?
I think now we're kind of shifting in a really great way. I think initially, you know, being a woman and being of color, there was a lot of barriers in trying to break in, but now I think we're having a really great, you know, renaissance period where we're seeing like a lot of movies with diverse casts coming out, and television thanks to Shonda Rhimes, and, you know, the success of Empire and Blackish and shows like that.
Right.
You know, diverse voices are being sought after right now.
And what are your future plans? I know the future is very bright for you.
Well, hopefully Barbershop 3 would do really well, and there might be a Barbershop 4. And then I have another movie in the works, and I have a project with the ballerina Misty Copeland at Fox that I hope gets picked up.
Do we have a timeline on that?
I hope to know within the next couple months
Okay.
on the Misty Copeland project.
Well, keep us updated. That's going to be really exciting.
Thank you.
And talk to us a little bit about financing of the film. How did that work for Barbershop?
Yeah, well, it's a studio movie, so it's financed through MGM, which is the studio. And, you know, we got lucky for this because MGM was excited to make the movie, so we didn't have to do any kind of independent financing. But, you know, the thing about movies like this is you have to keep the budget low, because, you know, it's a narrow movie as far as like the audience. It has a primarily black cast, so, you know, the studios want to keep the financing low to try to make a profit on it, which basically means that everybody doesn't have a big payday. Everybody's doing it for the love of it. Right. So that was a really great thing about the project, was everybody from Ice Cube and Common to the writers, Malcolm who directed it, we all did it, you know, not for a huge payday, but because we wanted to send a positive message out. Right.
And talk about sort of the inspiration for part of the film. I know part of it was taken from a Memphis barbershop.
Right. Yeah, Ice Cube actually emailed us an article very early on before he'd written the script about this real life barbershop that, you know, had been plagued by violence in the community, and they decided to become kind of Switzerland, this neutral, you know, grounds within this community where they were going to bring people together. And it actually worked. They did kind of a ceasefire and brought the community together and got a lot of news. And we wanted to kind of emulate that story for our script.
Right. And talk about your personality being infused into the script. I know you talked about you and Kenya and the dating advice and all of that,
yeah.
But what part of you do we see in this film?
I always said if I wasn't going to be in entertainment, I'd be in politics. And so there's a lot of political stuff in there, and a lot of the conversations that, you know, I've had with friends about racism and, you know, just issues surrounding the Obama administration, I scripted and somehow got it in the movie. And when people see that, you know, it's a really controversial scene in there.
Well, and you write about what you know. I mean, there's no other way really to do that. So you stay informed, you stay involved. What do you say to other people, especially younger people, about staying involved, staying connected in the community? Because this film really seems to me to be about not just being in a community, but being a part of it and really carrying your own in that community.
Right. I mean, I think it's important to be involved in any kind of way. You know, whether it's, you know, contributing financially or whether it's volunteering your time. You know, I think there's always something we can do to help spread the message and do something in our communities, and I don't think you have to have a lot of money to do it. Sometimes just showing up and helping someone is good enough.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Tracy, for being with us. I know I loved the film. It was really great. I can't wait to see the rest of your career and all the success that follows.
Well, I appreciate you watching the movie and for having me.
Still to come on Awareness, how some barbers are encouraging youth with books and real talk. We take our conversation inside a local barbershop. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You bring two individuals together, you know, from two different backgrounds and bring them together all because of their haircut.
The barbershop movies bring to light conversations and issues happening in many neighborhoods, not just on the south side of Chicago. Here in Columbia, I'm at Holiday's Barbershop with a couple of barbers, a beautician, and a school teacher to talk about how barbershops can be agents of change. We have Johnny Holiday Baez, the owner of the shop here on UG Street, Michael Tolliver of Tolliver's Main Event on North Main Street, Denise Bradley, who owns Blow 2 Vista Blow Dry Bar, and Jasmine Mix, a school teacher and founder of Books with Barbers. Thank you guys for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
What comes to mind when you hear barbershop or beauty shop? What do you think about? What kind of conversations are had in these establishments?
Well, I know in the blow dry bar, we talk about whatever's going on in society. We have a lot of conversations about fashion, about music, about what we're doing this evening. That's why we're getting fabulous.
Are they candid, real conversations?
Yeah, at the barbershop at Tolliver's, we talk about what's going on in the neighborhood, politics, how we can help the community out. We have church if we need to, Saturday mornings, excuse me. Just any and everything that we can possibly do to give back from the standpoint of where we're at, because we understand that we're leaders and we set the standard to help young men out to become that grow up from being boys to young men.
And then Jasmine, you have a great organization, Books with Barbers, and you're sort of trying to change what happens in barbershops, or add to it, I should say.
Absolutely. It's no secret that barbershops are founding grounds for many of our Black communities. And what a perfect place to put in books and literature for young African American males to just read.
And how has that been going for you? I know it's really taking off.
It really has been. We've been working on this initiative for about 9 weeks now. We've established over 30 shops across the state of South Carolina. Right here at Holidays was our first shop. Since then, we have worked with multiple partnerships with community leaders, community members, and have even worked out partnerships with the City of Columbia, working with Mayor Steve Benjamin.
And Holiday, talk about some of the real conversations that you guys have here in the barbershop. Are any topics off limits?
Well, there are many topics that are off limits, but I mean, there are many things that we talk about. We try to stay positive. Just being within the youth, you know, this has a big impact on them. You know, a lot of young adults, they grow up within the barbershop, you know. It has a big impact on the community, the way we do things, you know, as far as kids look at what we wear. Barbers make a lot of things cool, you know, so we definitely play a big part within it, and we have to be mindful of the things that we talk about and the conversations that we have for the youth.
So do you feel like there's kind of a, I don't want to call it a burden, but a responsibility on you as barbers, as a beautician, to affect change or to inspire or motivate in a positive direction?
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely a responsibility, but it's something that we embrace. You know, it's something that we take with pride because we understand we ain't just doing it for us. We're doing it for the young man that's looking up to us. We're the one that doesn't have a father figure at home. His uncle's locked up. You know, we wear a lot of hats besides just a barber and beautician as well. So yes, we love that part.
Do you think more needs to be done or more can be done on behalf of barbershops and beauty shops?
Definitely more could be done. I think as barbers, as business owners, we have to start giving back to the community. I say that because we wouldn't be anything without them. You know, they actually feed us. You know, the money that they give for haircuts on a weekly basis. So we need to start giving back a little more. We need to start having just customer appreciation, client appreciation type of days, whether it's every few months or whatever the case may be. But we definitely could do a lot more to start giving back to the community.
And Denise, I know you have worked with veterans, so you've tried to do your part in giving back and helping out.
Definitely. I try to make sure definitely during the different holidays, Memorial Weekend, Veterans Weekend, things like that, we definitely give back. Most recently in my blow dry bar, I've hired actually active duty service member spouses to work in our blow dry bars, and that really helps the family as a whole.
Really doing some great work in the community. Well, we are just getting this conversation started. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more. Let's just get right back into it. Let's talk about the importance of a haircut and how it's so much more than cutting hair. It can really change lives. How have you seen that in your own shops?
Well, I've seen it from two different standpoints. One is an individual coming to get a job. Usually the barbershop is the second place, where the first place you can start your second chance at life. Generally for those who has been locked up, who has a troubled past. It's hard for them to go ahead and get a job because of their record. So they come to a barbershop looking for a second chance at life. And I have seen it taking a guy from literally nothing to a lot of something. A guy that didn't have a dream, but now he has goals and he has things that he has accomplished. He has a foundation that he has set not only for his child, but for his grandchild, just like my father has. So, and from a barbering standpoint, like I said, like we touched upon earlier, it's just the leadership. You know, when you come together and you know that you're doing it not just for yourself, but you're doing it for that little man or for that grown man who don't have nobody in his life, and he can't wash his hair. And so you have to go to a certain catering aspect to be more genuine, to be more sincere, to show that love that is more than a haircut.
And we're talking about more than black. We're talking about white. We're talking about everybody. Haircuts can change anyone's life.
That's right. That's right. And it's like barbers and beauticians, I think a part of us lives for the satisfaction on the client's hair or head when you're finished. You know, the finished result, it just, the smile that you get out of them, it's like, you know, you did it for them. You made their day. You know, you made them feel better about themselves. So
right, it's that self-confidence that you've helped to instill in them.
Yes.
Have you seen that, Denise?
Oh, we see it all the time. Our clients love doing selfies. As soon as they get finished, I mean, I'm sure, you know, other business owners can tell you the same thing. Oh, let me get a selfie. Because everyone loves that. Everyone loves to be beautiful. And their confidence is way up. And if there's something that we could do to help that, you know, I think it's the best thing around.
And Jasmine, you're also helping with that self-confidence because you are helping to increase literacy. If you can't read, then of course you're going to have some hesitation and some doubts about yourself. So combine the haircut with literacy skills and you're good to go.
Absolutely. It's all about self-confidence. Just as Michael was just saying, when you feel good, you do things a lot better. You function better. You're happier on the inside, and that matches how you feel on the outside. So when they're instilling this physical confidence within a child, we're here to instill a mental confidence with them as far as building themselves in literacy.
Us as barbers and beauticians should be very mindful of, you know, welcoming Jasmine and Books with Barbers into their shops or salons, just being that when you look at majority of barbers, they haven't went to college or haven't finished high school, maybe just got their GED and things of that nature. So we have to enforce it a little stronger, I believe.
Thank you so much, everybody, for your perspectives. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you.
Stay with us. We'll be right back with a final thought.
It's too crazy out there on them streets.
But Dad, there's a 3-on-3 tournament this weekend.
I don't care about no basketball. Do you know your mama found gang paraphernalia in your drawer? In my house. Now how am I supposed to trust you?
Man, this ain't fair. One of my teammates got to deal with these stupid rules.
You know why? Do you know why? Because most of those knuckleheads ain't even got a father to look out for them anyway.
But they look out for me. When I'm at school, my boys are the ones that got my back.
Who you talking about? You talking about Kenny? You think that's your boy?
Man, why you always gotta say something about Kenny? Aren't you and Uncle Shaw like brothers? Why you always tripping?
Hey, you watch your mouth, Jalen. Now, I'm not one of your friends, okay? I don't see why you don't understand how dangerous it is out there and that we don't approve of who you're associating with.
What, you want me to hang out with the cornball that cleans the shop?
What's wrong with Anthony? Why is it corny to be smart? Why is it corny to do what you ask? Why is it corny to handle your business? That's not corny, son. That's being a man.
There are a lot of real conversations throughout the movie. They help illustrate we all have a role to play in uplifting and positively impacting our communities. Whether you're a barber, a teacher, a church leader, or a neighbor, we all have chances to make change. Join the conversation about Barbershop on our Awareness Facebook page. And if you happen to go see the movie, tell us what you think. Until next time, I'm Megan Norman. This is Awareness.